We've seen the performance, two people saying a polite goodbye in a crowded room, while the secret reality stays hidden beneath the table. In 1988, Mexican superstar Ana Gabriel took that exact tension and turned it into the biggest Latin pop hit of the decade. But the lyrics hinted at a specific, dangerous secrecy. It left an entire generation wondering, who was she hiding from? And why did the answer eventually threaten to upend the industry? This was a confession whispered into a microphone and broadcast to millions, a private truth hiding behind the mechanics of a pop song. After debuting at number 36 on the Billboard Hot Latin Tracks in May 1989, the public treated it like a standard ballad, but the momentum was unstoppable, hitting number 1 and remaining a chart fixture for over half a year. To understand why it resonated, look at the late 80s Latin music market, a landscape dominated by conservative expectations and very traditional romantic tropes. Gabriel's lyrics mirrored this duality. She sang about the boring, platonic face shown to the public, ante la gente es así, before pivoting to the uncontrollable love that only happened once the door was closed. If the romance was this passionate, what social force was powerful enough to keep it behind a locked door? By structuring the song this way, Gabriel created a scenario where a conservative audience could sing along to a story of forbidden desire, without ever having to acknowledge the nature of the taboo. The public response was immediate. The media went into a frenzy trying to put a name and a gender to the person in the lyrics. One theory centered on soccer legend Hugo Sanchez, fueled by reports that he had serenaded Gabriel at her hotel during a trip to Peru. But that was overshadowed by a much more persistent rumor, a secret, years-long relationship with the iconic actress Veronica Castro. Fans pointed to their constant travel together and shared hotel rooms. When they performed on stage, the camera captured a level of physical proximity and intense eye contact that went far beyond typical professional friendship. The gossip became so loud that the press cornered Gabriel, forcing her to address the question of her sexuality in the most public way possible. Celebrity gossip culture had effectively weaponized the song, turning a heartfelt ballad into a piece of evidence in a public investigation. You can feel the media pressure in the archives from this era, reporters constantly demanding she categorize her private life for the cameras. Her answers were sheer masterpieces of deflection. She told reporters she was asexual like the angels, or she'd joke that they hadn't seen her with a woman because she was very faithful to the many she already had. It was a strategy of total unpredictability. By refusing to give a straight answer, she made it impossible for the tabloids to craft a definitive scandal. While the press was busy being confused, the song was finding a different audience. Queer communities recognized the specific language of the lyrics, the faked goodbye and the unspoken glances, as a direct reflection of their own lives. In a culture where secrecy was a tool for survival, this song became the one place where those hidden lives were actually being described. Gabriel's ambiguity allowed people who lived in the shadows of conservative society to project their own truths onto her music, giving the track a level of cultural weight the press couldn't touch. For over 3 decades, the Veronica Castro theory remained the dominant narrative, but during a tour in 2024, the story took an unexpected turn. Standing on stage before a sold-out crowd, Ana Gabriel decided to finally address the mythology that had followed her for most of her career. She told the audience directly, "Simplemente Amigos was not written for Veronica Castro." If the most famous rumor in Latin music history was wrong, it raises the ultimate question: who was she actually singing to? The fact that a 35-year-old debunking could still cause a social media firestorm shows that the public was never really interested in the facts. They were in love with the mystery. At this point, the specific name of the lover doesn't actually matter. The song works because it validates a shared experience for anyone who has ever been forced to keep their romance a secret. The next time you hear that chorus, you'll recognize the tension in the performance. It's the sound of a private reality trying to break through a public mask. Simplemente Amigos remains one of the most covered tracks in the genre because that feeling of a faked goodbye is universal. It's a reminder of the complex private lives playing out every day, right in front of us, in the shadows of the public world.